How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Seek Harbour with us tonight. They can say their names and what they do in the band.
Hello, amazing. Well, I'm Edwin. I'm one of the singers in the band.
I'm Aimee, and I am also one of the singers in the band.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. I want to give a shout out to James. Always big salutes. I love James. Also, congrats, James, on your kid. Don't think I said it, but now is the time to say it. But wanted to say I had an interesting listen through Seek Harbour. I was telling them that I was currently at the gym listening through a majority of their discography. I gotta say, it's really good, but I'm excited to hear what Aimee is going to be bringing to the table, since I don't think any of the stuff that I've listened to on Spotify has any of Aimee's footprint on it as of yet. So I'm excited to delve into that when that time comes. But I wanted to know, as I always ask this question, in terms of Seek Harbour starting out, how did the band form? How did you guys come together? Spare no expense. I love hearing all the nitty gritty details. So
Yeah, you definitely can't answer that. So basically it started with the guitarist always being in this same rock bar, and I always used to go there every so often because I knew him, and every so often I would joke about being in a band with him, and then we'd think of guys that were quite good in their field within the small town, and go, would it be funny if that guy and that, little suit, let's do that. And it became a joke for such a long time, but the guitarist always said no. And then he went to see Being as an Ocean live, and got so inspired, he made the WhatsApp and said, let's do this. And that's literally the big start of the band.
And then obviously the newest addition, Aimee, joined the group, I guess, like about a month or two ago now at this point. Aimee, how did you find out about Seek Harbour? Had you gone to see them play shows? I'm curious how you wind up joining the group.
So I had taken quite a bit of a break from doing any kind of music for a while, and I was just kind of looking about on Facebook, just trying to find something. I'd been putting posts out and just kind of to no avail, was getting nowhere. And then one day I just saw this chap here decide to post asking for a female singer, and I was like, oh, I'll give it a go. At that point I'd kind of turned myself off to doing it, but I was like, no, I'll give it a go. Messaged him, and then he referred me on to guitarist C, and we were talking to him. I was just talking to him about what they wanted, what they were looking for. They said that they'd had previous stuff released on Dreambound, which was a page I'd been following for years on YouTube, so that was a real big kind of tick in my box.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
From there it was kind of history.
And how, in terms of projects before this, have you done something in the same sort of lane of what Seek Harbour's doing, or was this kind of like, oh, I want to challenge myself vocally and try something different? Or I'm just curious.
No, I don't think it's out of the realm of anything I listen to. I kind of grew up listening to the kind of music I think that we write. I was very big into pop punk, and I got into heavier stuff as I got older. My last band was more of an all heavy, all rock sort of vibe. Okay. But no, this has challenged me in ways because I'm having to work with Edwin, and we're working against each other but with each other at the same time vocally, and we play off of each other.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's been interesting.
I'm excited to check it out. I know you guys have a new song that's coming out on December the 15th, so I'm gonna have to give that a listen when it comes out. But I did listen to Far From Home that was released last year in 2022, and I gotta say, I think the first bands that kind of came to mind was, I'm glad you mentioned Being as an Ocean, because I felt like there was definitely an influence of that. But I'd also say first album, Death Havana. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that group, but
I do know Death Havana. Yeah,
it kind of gives me that sort of old school, a little post-hardcore, a little melodic hardcore kind of vibe. And I have yet to find a group that kind of has hit that alt sound instrumentally, but also have screaming and more atmospheric elements. So I felt a little nostalgic because I was like, man, that was one of the first amongst many host of UK groups that I found out about early on, and I was like, man, these guys kind of remind me of that nostalgia. So wanted to give that a shout. And then
that's a massive compliment. Thank you.
No problem. I was really vibing out with that. I think probably my favorite of the songs that I listened to off that EP, and then I also checked out Sleepless Water, which came out in, I think, 2021. I would probably say my favorite off the EP, I enjoyed Far From Home. I think that was probably my favorite amongst the EP songs, but I'm excited to, again, I know we keep talking about Aimee joining group, but I feel like that I love the dynamic between like male and female vocalists. So I think for me, it's like I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if James has already sent me the song or not, but James, if you're watching this, and that, well, obviously I'm gonna email him and be like, yo man, come on, send me this, send me the link. But I think for me, I'm excited to see that dynamic. And in regards to the new song, how long has that been in the works for, in terms of like, when Aimee joined the group till, obviously you guys are gonna be releasing it soon?
It's a long time, yeah. I think we've been sat on it maybe almost a year now.
Sounds about right.
I think so. Maybe coming up to that, because we wrote it with Loz in the band.
Okay.
And then he said he was leaving in a really fair and like early way. So we had time to sort stuff out. And we were like, oh man, let's get a race on now, I suppose. And then obviously got hold of Aimee. And so we tried to write the songs as best we could, by filling in gaps. So we're just like, we changed a few bits and we filled in gaps, didn't we? But we're so excited to finally write something together rather than just throwing you on tracks that were already pre-written. But we've been sat on them a while. We just had to change how they sounded, really, and that's it.
In terms of sound, have you guys kind of changed like the instrumentation, or is that going to, because I did see a couple comments on people making, like, I scoured your Facebook posts and like Instagram stuff, and people were like, oh, are you guys going to change your sound? Like, is it what people would expect from Seek Harbour, but obviously having another edition of like female vocals? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I hope so.
I'm just like a female you though, so I feel like they're basically getting boy Ed, female Ed,
literally,
and it's literally going to end up being like that.
We have the same influences, like, so I found that quite cool, quite surreal. Like, I've always liked Paramore and You Me at Six in my like phase of being a vocalist. And then you came along and said, so my influences are, I was like, oh, so we sound similar, I think. Like, yeah,
definitely. I think we do have, like, because we've got those similar influences, we definitely.
Absolutely, I think so.
I'm waiting for the harmonies. I love that. That's to me is like, I'll swoon over any of that sort of stuff. So I'm hoping down the line there's gonna be some more stuff. In regards to people checking out Seek Harbour, and this may be the first video that they find out about your group, what song would you recommend to a new listener to check out first to kind of give them an idea of Seek Harbour's sound?
I always would recommend Far From Home first, because when I first did the search, obviously you do that deep dive when you hear about this band, you're like, okay, let's size them up a little bit. So I was looking through the discography and I was like, nah, that's the one that I like. And then when I auditioned, that's the one that I think we gelled the best on.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed doing that one. But yeah, out of the new ones, I definitely think our first single's going to be
the one.
That's going to be the one.
So it's exciting. Yeah. Just give them everything first song. Why not?
What about you, Edwin? Do you have a different choice, or would you?
Yeah. It's a hard one because you're not supposed to continually point fans to your first song. But everybody likes Ghost and Shadow, which we refer to as Gas, and it's obviously short. But I would probably point people to Sleepless Water.
Ooh, okay.
Far From Home is definitely up there with the new ones, but Sleepless Water has the silkiness and the melodic hardcore sound that people tend to like. So I'd probably point them there first.
That's good. I'm, like I said, is there any possibility for like some of the, like, as obviously Aimee is such a different path to what Seek Harbour is putting out, is there any chance that these songs would kind of be like reimagined in some way where like we would get Aimee's take on some of these songs? Because that was kind of my initial thought, was like, I like this, and obviously, I like both iterations, but I also feel like it's interesting when you have kind of more of a vocal dynamic change of like, okay, we have a new vocalist, maybe we should try to like pick a song. Obviously I wouldn't expect you guys to do the full EP, but like maybe one song that everybody kind of agrees on is like, oh, maybe we should kind of do a flip on it and try to change it up a little bit. Has it ever come across your table in terms of like, let's do it? Or are you just like, let's just focus on the new stuff and we're gonna try to get new stuff out to everybody.
Should we tell him?
I wouldn't say the cards are off the table on that
They're
one.
not off the table, no.
Oh, okay, okay.
We've already been talking about doing that.
I'm in the psyche, guys. I'm in the psyche.
You don't want to say too much and give too much away because you've got to still keep the element of surprise. But it is very much something we've been talking
We're
about.
thinking about it, yeah.
That's fair. I feel like it's always a tough situation because like you could either just kind of give people new stuff, and I feel like that's always a good option for most people is just like, okay, what are we gonna get? Like I'm stoked for all new stuff. But I also love when bands kind of like look back retrospectively and it's like, this is a song that we love. You know, everybody's been asking for us to redo it in some way, you know, and you love to appease fans, I'd imagine, to some degree. So you're like, okay, how can we kind of find that middle ground of like, we still want to put new music out, but we also want to say like, hey, listen, we respect you for joining us for, you know, the years we've been doing it for. So here you go. Here's like an olive branch kind of like, all right, we got you, like, let's do it.
Yeah.
So
stay with us, old fans.
Stay with I'm sure you will get I'm absolutely sure you will get new fans 100%. So I'm excited to listen to the new song that is coming out on the 15th. But in regards to influences, who was kind of the first either person that you saw on like TV or online that like really inspired you to become a musician and like just kind of scratched that itch and was like, I need to make music?
I'm going to be typical Hayley Williams.
That's fair.
I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, Paramore this, Paramore that. I love that band and I have loved them since I was a child. And now being 23, for me, I'm like, I watch what she's still continuing to do and produce, and she still keeps it new, changes it up, and I don't know.
Me too, at 33.
It's timeless.
Yeah. It's a difficult one because I think I first started a band when I was in college, so I was probably around 19, and it was flowing off the back of You Me at 6 with a hint of Hayley Williams. Yeah. So again, the influences I mentioned earlier, I think, were the ones that really threw me into this genre of music particularly. So that was definitely it for me as well, I think.
Yeah, I also, that was another group that I was like kind of thinking about in my head. I was like, there's another group that I feel like they're influenced by, and I couldn't quite like put the like layers together, and I was like, and then when Edwin was like, you me at 6, and I was like, okay, now I get it. I've unlocked what I was looking for. So I feel like, as I mentioned before, like being as an ocean, Old Def Havana, and like You Me at 6, if you like any of those three bands, this is a band you need to check out. But yeah. I also think equally as well, like I'm 30, so I feel like for me, like I love Paramore. I'll Die on That Hill. I've loved kind of all of the different generations that they've kind of been a part of now at this point. But I think it's also like, is what Aimee said, I think it's her ability and the group's ability to kind of not stick to one specific thing and just kind of continue to iterate on what they do well. Obviously, like I have a lot of love for their old material, and I'll Die on That Hill as well. But I also love their newest album. Like I think it's kind of like, you know, obviously I have the nostalgia for the old records, but I also feel like they're always trying to continue to not feel like, oh, we're going to do like the pop punk, you know, like alt sort of sound for the rest of our lives. Let's try to do something that's going to like test my skills as a vocalist or as a songwriter. And so I always appreciate that. And I feel like same thing for like Seek Harbour. I was just constantly like going from the newest stuff to the oldest stuff. I was like, you can tell like with each year that kind of passed by in terms of the group, I'm like, what are they going to do next? Like I'm going back in time, so it's like an interesting perspective on like newest to oldest. In terms of, I guess, fans that have been around for a while, like have they also been experiencing that same sort of thing of like, wow, Seek Harbor's changed so much between the years, or do you feel like they're just like, any Seek Harbour stuff's great? I'm all on board.
I think that's the vibe I get. Do you? Like, I don't think we've changed that much yet.
I think there's a little bit. There's a little variation.
Yeah, little dash, but
there is.
everyone just follows it like
I think because
You might know more, yeah, because I've been in it.
Because you've been in it from the beginning.
Yeah.
For you
I just go along for the
you see
ride.
no
right?
change.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I was watching your timeline.
That's true.
I've seen the beginning versus now.
That's true, yeah.
And there is a difference. I mean, obviously with Loz Gone, it's going to change a little bit, but there has been some growth.
That's cool to know, yeah, from the outside, yeah.
I mean, your hair and your moustache has changed.
Yeah.
Nearly every music video.
Every music video is different. Yeah, like, what's it, Gas Reimagined, I've got hair down to here.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Moustache in original Gas. Yeah, that's weird. Funny.
That's all right. I feel you, Edwin. As someone who's been doing YouTube for like 8 years, I go back and I'll get like a Facebook like reminder of like, hey, remember when you were like super young and you did this? And now you look at yourself and you're like, I don't even look the same. It's kind of crazy. So I feel you on that. That's like, and then then my hair at the top starts to turn gray and like, I start to feel decrepit and all that stuff. So it's all right. That's what I'm here for. But the next question I have for you guys is, what are you jamming to more currently? What's on the Spotify? What have you guys been listening to lately?
Right, yeah.
This always takes you a while, so I'll answer first.
Yeah, it takes me a while.
Bad Omens, Spirit Box. I've become really into my like heavier stuff, screamy stuff. Definitely, that's the vibe I've gone for right now.
I'm about it.
It's a tough one for me. I don't tend to scour new music as much as I should. I tend to let Spotify play through a radio of one song I like.
Fair, okay.
Whilst I'm doing things. I really like Yours Truly, the Australian band.
Yeah.
So much. Every song. I don't normally like every song, but every time they release a tune, I'm excited to hear it, knowing I'll like it, which is the case. But I listen to a lot of indie folk, which is just acoustic guitar, bit of a melody. That's it, really. So,
I feel you. Yeah.
So a bit of rock thrown in there. Yeah.
I'm about it. Like I've kind of in the same way where I will like there will be moments where I'll listen to like heavy music, and obviously like a large primary focus on my channel is heavier music, but I feel like I often surprise people when I'm like, yeah, I listen to a lot of like indie folk sort of stuff. I listen to like jazz, like I'm all over the place in terms of the normal music that I listen to. And then obviously I love like the newest Spirit Box EP. I love like all of the I love the newest Bad Omens record. Like I'm kind of all over the map in terms of that as well. So I feel like for me it's like I always have to try to find something that's a little bit outside of my comfort zone to be like, okay, like this is cool. Like I appreciate the range. So maybe we'll see Edwin do like an acoustic, like folksy sort of track on the next one,
Maybe between songs live or something. Power failure can be an acoustic.
I love that. Well, the next question, guys, I have a fun one for you. If you guys could pick a song to cover,
oh, that's difficult.
Man.
That is such a difficult question. I haven't prepared for this one.
Cover as in as a full unit, as a band,
as a full
or just
unit.
solo?
Oh, as a full unit,
full
for
band.
sure. Yeah.
Because we have done a couple of shows before, hometown shows. They tend to be the busiest, where we do take a cover with us. So we have covered Running Up That Hill before.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. God, what would we cover as a band though if we could choose? Make them do a Paramore.
That's what I think. No, because I don't want to say Paramore for every answer. Because that's just a bit typical, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's Paramore, not Paraless.
Oh. You think you're so funny.
That was
I don't know.
Dad joke of the century.
I've always. No, I was gonna say something along the lines of like Mallory Knox. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's great. They're great.
I adore that band.
I don't think I've heard any songs.
Mallory Knox are so good. You need to listen to them.
I might have to.
You're gonna love Mikey's voice, because I do. But no, seriously, I would take probably any one of the ones that they did, any of their songs.
Do you know, actually, is it the band Holding Absence?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Holding
Are they
Absence.
the guys that do Monochrome?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
I think they might be. Yeah, I would love to cover that.
Afterlife.
I really look up to his
Afterlife's good
voice.
too.
It's just he can hold high notes for so long.
I've been saying for a long time as well, Holding Absence are definitely one of those UK bands that are really, really pushing it. They're really getting out there now, and they deserve it so much. They're so talented,
amazing,
and
yeah.
their sound is so good.
I've seen them a couple times here in the States, so they're one of those bands that, shout outs to Dreambound. I know you guys mentioned them earlier, but I found out about them in the early years of Dreambound before they got signed. And not to sound like, that hipster dude that was like, I knew this band before they got signed, but like legitimately found out about them before they got signed. So I'm super proud of them.
That is awesome.
Because I've been a fan for many, many years. So glad to see they're crushing it. And they're coming back to the States in the new year. So I'm very excited to see them again. They're headlining, so I'm super pumped. I feel like that'd be great. I think if I had to pick a new Holding Absence song, I feel like you guys could crush like Honeymoon off their new album. I think that one would
Do you know that
be
one?
good.
Yes, I do.
I might have to listen to it and put down the indie folk.
It's really good.
I think you guys would do a very good job of that one. I would be curious to hear your take on that. So that's my metaphorical like token in the pot, So guys, if you have any suggestions for Seek Harbour, drop them in the comments. Let them know what you would love to hear them cover.
Yes.
I can't guarantee they'll do it, but a polite suggestion always goes a long way. So definitely hit them up. But the next question I have for you guys is, what is your favorite food to eat? What is your go-to?
Sushi or steak?
Wow.
One or the other.
What are the
maybe even both.
Or both at the same time?
You can get like steak and sushi, can't you?
It's basically surf and turf.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Fusion. You're going to say something vegan, aren't you?
Yeah. I wasn't going to mention it first thing.
I doubted him.
You can mention it. It's fine. I respect it,
Coming out story 2023. I'm vegan.
Yeah, I have been for like maybe 5 years now, and it's silly, but I love a good vegan burger.
Okay.
It's just the thing. Like, I wasn't bothered before, but now they've got so good that I like trying them here, there, and everywhere. So one of my favourite meals is standard burger and chips, which is not very exciting, but I do love a good ramen as well. That's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. I also like how Edwin was like, I don't want to tell people I'm vegan. That was like that was like so funny to me. He's just like, as if like, I feel like most people would just be like, okay, cool, he's vegan. That's nice. Like I feel like it would just be like passed by as if like nothing happened. And Edwin's just like, oh my God, I can't tell people I'm vegan. That's crazy. Why would I tell people I'm vegan?
Just in case, yeah. The picture of me wearing things, is this vegan?
I think it would be funny.
Like
I think it would be funny if people like went to check out your band and then they're like, oh man, he's vegan. Can't do it. Can't listen to his band. That's it. Done. It's over. I was good up until he said he was vegan. And then that was it.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say that's like the new version of listening to a band and like finding out that it's writing songs about God. Because I felt that when I was a teenager. There were bands I'd listen to and then I would find out the songs were written about God and Christianity and I felt myself a little bit more disconnected. It was great music, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, people in the comments just like seek meat or something. Or seek help.
Seek help.
I do feel Aimee's stance though, because I grew up religious. So like for me, it's like I love those bands not because they are religious, but I just love them because they are what got me into like alternative music. But I also now look back and I'm like, oh man, that song's about that's a little cringy, but like I still respect it because it's like a part of my history. So I feel like it's
absolutely.
I get it. Like, but also at the same time, it's like,
Obviously, everyone's perspectives and views on life, they're all their own.
Yeah.
You write music about whatever the hell you want to. We've got some weird music being made out there. So honestly, like it isn't like a major thing. It just was one of those things which was weirdly, I don't know, disenfranchising a little bit.
Sure.
Because it's not a space I expected to hear that kind of message being spoken about. So it was very much like, oh, okay. But you come to appreciate the song for its your own interpretation of its meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, it reminded me of the really good Christian band Cutlass, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The song All of the Words. I think they did an episode on Scrubs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I really liked that band, yeah.
Nah, that's Flyleaf for me, All Around Me.
Yes. Oh my God.
One
Yeah.
of the songs that was like covertly Christian, but I still listen to.
Flyleaf are great, yeah.
I mean, that to me is like Under Oath or like August Burns Red, where like I feel like they are inherently that, but like also at the same point, it's like I get it, you know, like I don't know. I respect your choice on if you are religious or not, whatever is your thing, you know. So rock what you like to do. That's no diss, but you can expect a vegan track from Seek Harbour in the next release. So keep your eyes and ears peeled. You know, I'm stoked. It's gonna be talking about like impossible meat or like whatever whatever vegans talk about. So the next question I have for you guys is if you guys were to have a feature on an up and coming Seek Harbour track, who would you love to have on? The question will get split into two answers. One is more feasible. Yeah, you have a mate, you have a homie that you would be like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You haven't asked, but now is the time. Now is the time to put him on blast a little bit. You know. And then the second choice or second answer is one that we're manifesting. We're putting it out there. I'm putting the good juju out there for you guys. So that's the second answer.
I'll go for my non-feasible one.
Yeah, I've got that in my head already, yeah.
Go.
Mine would obviously be Michaela from Yours Truly.
Ooh, okay. That
would be great. She'll bring such a powerful sound, and that would be a great feature.
Unfortunately, I think it's Lucas from Holding Absence. Yeah,
nice. That's
the one that I would immediately go for, to be honest, because I think it would just sound fucking great.
Yeah, so good.
And then what's your feasible options?
Feasible one. I tried. I think maybe Immerse.
Yes.
Because we've lost Loz, we've lost an element of the roughness, and it'd be great if Immerse just maybe did a little feature.
I was thinking that about Lestelle.
Yeah, because it'd just be cool if they I don't know, I think it'd be great.
A little screaming. Yeah. I'm about it. Okay.
I don't think it's without in the realm of possibility that could ever be brought back in. Like, it could.
Yeah, I mean, you did like a tiny scream in one of your
bands. In my previous band, I did take a stab at doing those kinds of vocals.
Yeah, I feel like screaming is one of those things that I feel like inherently in my brain, I'm like, I can do this. And then I actually like open my mouth and do it. And I'm like, yeah, I actually can't do that. And I'm not going to ever try again. So kudos to anybody that does screaming, because I can't figure it out. I can't figure that shit out. Like, there's something about it that like everybody's like, oh, you do this or you do that. And I've tried it. I just can't get it. So if you scream and you know how to do that shit, let me know, because I mean, it'd be cool to know, but I will be okay if I don't know how to scream either. So, but those were some good features. I'm about it. So listen, guys, the first thing I need you to do is I need you to go follow Seek Harbour on Instagram. If you haven't done that yet, then like the second part of this question is not going to help you out. So do the first thing. And then the second thing is I need you to tag Seek Harbour, and I need you to tag Holding Absence. I need you to tag Yours Truly. I need you to tag Lestelle. I need you to tag all the homies on this, and then type the word collab ? And then just post it on your story. And then, listen, I've been on the internet long enough to know that, if it's out there, I think it's got to be real. I mean, I have good faith that it's out, that it's true. So listen, I'm just saying, you're just helping spread the word. So, just saying.
That's awesome.
Could do it. And it'd be kind of sick.
Put it into the universe.
Put it in the universe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll get, a DM back from Lucas, I don't know. Who knows? Be kind of sick. So, all right. Well, the next question I have for you guys is if you had a dream tour lineup, including Seek Harbour, who would be on this lineup?
It's a difficult one because we've answered this before, I think, and mine are always never relevant with each other. So
You just pick random.
it's a
about
really
it.
strange lineup.
It's okay.
Like,
that's why it's a
people would
dream
go,
lineup.
it would like just me would enjoy it. It's a difficult one because I always tend to forget about bands that exist and then go, oh, that would have been a good one, you know. So
Okay, Yumi at 6, headliners.
definitely, yeah.
Because I honestly think my dream lineup would still be us in a supporting role. In a sense, like for where we're at right now, I can't picture us being that headline and then putting other bands below us.
Hey,
That would just be really.
that's your shit. You know, this is your tour. You do whatever you want with it. You know.
Co-headline, Seek Harbour, Yumi at 6.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, we'll agree with that.
Ooh.
And then who would we have after that?
My brain's like Paramore.
No,
Come on.
Stop.
They'd clearly be the audience. It's such a hard one.
Holding absence.
Holding absence, yeah.
If Yumi at 6 and Holding Absence did a tour, I'd be there. Straight up.
Same, for sure.
But Seek Harbour Holding Absence and Yumi at 6 would just be seeking to hold you at 6.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. It's just the way I tinker in here.
That'd be the tour name.
Yeah, you put up with this a lot.
No, because to be fair, there are times we're playing off of each other and it's both of
Yeah,
us.
that's true. We annoy the other
How
guys.
many times?
Gosh, the question. Holding absence for sure. Yeah.
Yumi at 6.
Yumi at 6, holding
Seek
absence.
Harbour.
Seek Harbour.
Holding Absence.
How many more are we allowed? That's the thing.
I think you
At that point, it's turned
you
into
got
multiple.
you got 2 more, so it's 5 total. So
2 more.
You've answered for 3, I believe.
Would you put like an OG on there? Like maybe like Funeral for a Friend or something like that?
That's a shout.
Like an
That
old.
is a shout. Like Funeral for a Friend is a really good shout.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it? And then
I'm trying to think of something a bit more, a band that I've seen locally or something that I'm like, they would be good.
So much choice, that's the problem. Maybe, my personal, if you want to have your own one, if they would ever come back together, would be Alaska.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. All right.
These guys are great.
Would you care to agree, Aimee, or do you have a different choice?
I personally haven't heard that band, so
The poster on the wall.
I'm not really affiliated with them. But I don't know. A local band that I sing a lot of praises about is Salvation Jane. They're based in Kent and they're a local band and they're pretty good.
They are, yeah.
And I've had a lot of interaction with them and talked to them guys quite a lot and they're really nice.
There we go. Well, guys, listen, if you want to make this tour happen, then, you know, you call up your Yumi X6 contact, you know, because we all have them, and then you tell them, hey, you should take this band Seek Harbour on tour, and they're like, okay, bet, we got you. So that's how you do it. I don't know. I think that's how we do it. I don't know. You can let me know. DM me. We'll figure it out. The next question I have for you guys is, if there was one song that you wish that you wrote, what song would it be?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't think... I'm not too certain on this, but there's a band called The Animal in Me.
Yes.
They do a lot of covers on YouTube. I'm not certain if this is a cover of theirs or if they wrote it, but it's a great tune. Really big sounding drums. It's Gotta Keep Moving. Keep Moving, it's called.
Okay, Animal.
Keep Moving. Really big song. I wish, you know, it's about no matter what happens in life, just keep grinding, keep going. Really, really big message, but incredible sound.
I think it's one of their songs. So, okay, cool. Yes. All right. Aimee, what about you?
Celebration Song by Holding Absence.
Nice.
Again, love this band, so it's very easy to say. But that was one of the songs that was not like one of their released singles.
Yeah.
It was just tucked away, and I was just like,
What's it doing here?
This is such a good song. Why didn't they release it as a single?
Yeah, I'll have to find that one.
That's like the first song on the album, on The Greatest Mistake of My Life.
I think it's the opener, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the opener. Yeah,
It's such a good song, and it's just like
it kicks off that album so strongly. It's crazy. Yeah. I love their new album too. Don't get me wrong; that was also fantastic. But I feel like Greatest Mistake of My Life is such like a front to back. Like, your boy is gonna be crying in the club listening to this album. You know, like Oh my god, it's so good. Check it
They
out,
make
guys.
they make hurting sound so good. Like
That should be
that's
their
how it is.
slogan.
It's a
That
little
should be
bit
their
sadistic in a way, but it's like you listen to it and you're like you couldn't ever imagine that they'd be able to capture those feelings so perfectly with just sounds and words.
Yeah, Lucas is a maniac in terms of like lyricism, and man, I could go on about holding absence, but hopefully they'll come back on. I don't know. I've had them on before, so fingers crossed, guys. Come back on the show. I'd love to have you. But I'm so stoked because they're bringing the U.S. tour. They have them headlining. I think one of the openers, or there's three openers. Capstan, um, Casey, and Acres, which I'm stoked for all three of those bands because I love all three of them. So I'm pretty pumped. So I feel like if you like Holding Absence, you'll like Casey. Go check Casey out. They're like a smaller UK band. If you have not given them some love, go
Our
give them a
guitarist
listen.
knows who they are.
Yeah, I've seen
Oh,
about
Yeah.
them
He
and I've
write,
heard a little bit too.
when we first got together, we used to write our influences out when we were doing loads of plugging, and Casey and Akers were in there. And
ooh,
I have checked them out, but I haven't since, and I've forgotten what they sound like.
they're
So
great.
yeah, that's a good
Great,
shout.
great group. The next question I have for you guys is, in terms of groups that you've seen live, who puts on a great live performance?
This is a band that I didn't get to see live in their original form, which is Dream State.
Ooh,
Oh wow!
Um,
Oh, they're
yeah.
and
great.
I had tickets before the pandemic to go and see them. I think it was either Plymouth or Portsmouth, either one, with I Prevail.
Ooh,
And I was like, that's going to be a show. And then just COVID screwed it all up. CJ left the band, and I haven't had a chance to check the band, like go and see them since Jesse joined. And I
yes.
was like pleasantly surprised because I think when new singers join bands, there's always that like moment of apprehension. But it would be hypocritical of me,
Yeah.
of all people, to not give that a go and listen. And I still think they've managed to pull out a solid sound since.
Yeah,
But I would definitely go see them.
they're brilliant. Yeah. I honestly don't go to see live music as much as I should.
That's fair.
But I really enjoyed most recently the 1975, believe it or not.
Ooh, okay.
That was a great show. Their most recent album they were releasing, and they just they did it like a sitcom. So they had like an inside of a house on the stage, and the whole thing was done like that. So as you looked at the screens, it was done with people entering all cheesy. It was a great performance. Yeah, really good.
I'll have to find like a live video of that because that seems interesting. I don't know conceptually, like I don't know how they would be able to work that out, but it seems very cool. So
It was great. Yeah.
I'll have to give it a watch. But the next question I have for you guys is favorite TV show, favorite movie.
So, at the moment, for me, Yellow Jackets.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, or anything horror, really. Because I've just realised an answer I would have given to the last question was Ice Nine Kills as well.
Oh,
Because
nice.
I
Okay.
love the horror influence.
Yeah,
I love
yep.
it. But any horror film, any TV show, I've got Sweet Home waiting for me tonight, which is one on I'm watching it. It's gonna be good.
What about movie though?
Horror.
Oh.
Any
Just
horror
horror.
movies? Do you have any
Ooh.
specific one, Aimee?
I like things like Pet Sematary.
Okay.
It. I've seen both the original and like the updates, of course. Pretty much anything.
I can't do it. I have like a huge phobia of clowns, and my school when I was in high school, my friends would like bully me into watching this movie. So I
Oh,
have like a horrible I have a horrible
that's
horrible
horrible.
phobia
That
of it.
doesn't help, does
It
it?
doesn't help. So I feel like
Please.
I can't. Yeah, I'm also just not a scary movie fan because I'll be
Oh
up
no.
for like half the night and not be able to sleep. I
Yeah,
don't
me too.
understand, and maybe Amy can comment on this, but I don't know how people can watch a scary movie and then fall asleep as if everything is just like normal. Like I
Yeah.
don't get it. Like I'm like fucking like I'll keep my eyes open, watch my door for like fucking a
I'm
couple
like
hours
that.
until my brain like shuts off, and then I'm like, oh shit, I'm asleep now. Now I have to like fucking deal with my
And
like
then it's in your
thoughts.
dream.
Yeah, it's in my dream. Edwin gets me. I got it.
Do you fall asleep?
Yeah, sometimes. Most of the
Cuddling your big
time.
doll.
Most of the time, no, I'm fine. I think it mostly affected me when I was younger, and it would be films my dad would try and show me, and for some reason they would just scare the living hell out of me, and I would just not want to sleep at all. And then as I got older, I desensitized myself. I found my limit, and I learned where my boundaries were and what not to push.
Yeah.
And I've been able to enjoy a lovely selection of horror films.
And then you go
But
to
I wouldn't
sleep.
say I don't watch like Grindhouse. Like, no, I drew the line at The Human Centipede.
Oh
Yeah.
no,
That was the film I drew the line at. That's where I was.
line was way before that for me. Like
Yeah. Mine too.
I think that says a lot about me as a person, then,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it
The
does.
fact that I'm like, that was my line.
You're like, that's it. I can't do any more than that. That's the cutoff for me. And I'm like, I can, yeah, I'm not about it. So,
I'm like that.
Edwin,
I
what
watched
do
The
you got?
Mummy when I was younger, and that scared me. So my line's ridiculous.
I feel that. I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah. My favourite show is a difficult one because obviously it changes every so often, depending on if I've got to the end of it or not. But I really did enjoy The Umbrella Academy.
Ooh, yeah.
That was good. Really, really liked that show. And film. I've never really had a favourite film. I sort of, if I remember the ending of a film, I no longer watch it for years and years and years. And as soon as I forget the ending, I'm like, oh, I can watch this again now because I don't know. But there was one film I watched on repeat because I must have liked the joy in it, and it's Bruce Almighty,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is like the complete opposite to horror.
That is so you.
He's like, you know, yeah, it's a great film.
That is a great film. I also agree with that. I feel like Edwin
See,
and
we watch
I
these films.
Edwin and I are cut from the same cloth.
You do seem very Truman Show.
Yeah.
I think Edwin and I are just cut from the same cloth. I think that's what it is, you know.
Yeah.
It's the 30s, you know. That's what it is, you know. I'm just like I want
Yeah.
to I want to know what's going on, what's going to happen, and that's it. Like, you know, I'll sleep like sleep like a baby after, you know. So don't give me any horror suggestions in the comments. I'm not going to watch them, but if anybody wants to leave any in the comments and you're a horror fan, go ahead, shoot. But the next question I have for you guys is, if you were trapped on a desert island for the next month and there was one album you could bring with you to listen to, what album would that be?
I would probably go for... I have a terrible memory when it comes to certain things, and I might have forgotten the title of the album, but I think it's Self-Care by yours truly.
Ooh,
It's the one with the heart on it and
I
all the
got you.
flowers.
I got you, Edwin. It's yours truly.
Listen to it loads, and it's just... Every time I go, oh yeah, this song. There's no song I just skip. So, easy.
This one was like one from my childhood. I'm definitely, this was the band that were my big obsession. Don't Panic. It's Longer Now.
Which is great when you're on a...
By All Time Low.
Time Low, nice.
I specify It's Longer Now because they released like 3 extra songs, I think it was, or 2 extra songs in that extension, and they were bangers. And without those 2 songs, the album seems wrong.
Hopefully they keep releasing when you're on the island, and then you...
You have to get the full experience. I get it. And I think you are correct, Edwin. It is Self-Care. So, kudos, you did it.
Oh man.
All right. Well, that's awesome. I wanted to obviously give a few moments on your new track, which now I can say, since we're closer to the end of this interview, it is Skin versus Chrome. I wanted to know, in terms of like the lyricism, what are you guys delving into for this song? Because obviously it's a long time coming. You know, I feel like it's something that, again, you've been waiting roughly around a year to release. So, you know, what is kind of the topics delved into in this song?
One thing versus another. That was the main concept, I think, for the entire EP. And it was very much, there's always a conversation happening in each of the songs. And in Skin versus Chrome, it's more of a take on man versus the machine, human versus inhuman, you know, organic, metal, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's done in a bit more of a covert way.
Yeah, absolutely. We've always prided ourselves on the fact that when you listen to music, it can be subjective, and people love to take a song and make it about something that's happening in their life. And that's what makes music great, when it can be universal. So we don't like to really say that song's about that, and then everyone goes, cool. We love the fact they can take it into their own. So it is there's a bit of a conversation going on, but it's vague. So everyone can just interpret it how they want, and we love that. So that's what we've got aimed for, really.
And I feel like people come to their own conclusion. I like when groups kind of leave it up to the interpretation of the listener to be like, okay, this is what we're gonna delve into, but like it's kind of loose. It's not necessarily like this is exactly. And there, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are bands that are like, we want you to get this sort of meaning out of this song, and I respect that. But I also feel like it's equally as interesting for groups to kind of go through that process of like, hey, how can I make this more appealing for someone that maybe isn't familiar with Seek Harbour, and like they can interpret it in a way that might make them understand the song more, or make them relate more to it. So, you know, I love that. I'm excited to listen to Skin versus Chrome. If I do have something, I will record it because I'm going on vacation on the 15th. So I will have this done before I go on vacation. James, I'm going to email you at some point today. So you better send it over. But I'm very excited for what is to come next. I imagine this is not the only song for, you know, the rest of what Seek Harbour does. So I'm very excited to hear the next chapter and stuff like that. But I wanted to know, guys, this is the final question I have for you, is, you know, why is music important to you? I feel like, again, it's a very broad and large question, but I often love hearing from the perspective of people making music, because it's not easy. It's expensive sometimes. It's, you know, you put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. So I want to know what kind of drives you or continues to fuel your passion to make music.
Music is everything, in the sense for me that it's like so omnipresent, so omnipotent. It's everywhere you go. You can't find one community that hasn't in some way had a history with their musical representation and cultural influences. And in my like listening history, I've been a bit of an emo. And for me, it was the outlet of emotions and the ability to kind of put everything you're thinking down onto paper, turn it into a song, and then for somebody else to go, I know exactly how you're feeling. And that's a really powerful thing, because some people can't even have a conversation nowadays. Some people can't go up to another person and talk to them, but they could send them a song and that will communicate everything they need to know in an instant.
That's so good.
It puts you on the same level.
It's a great answer.
You're gonna have to follow that up, Edwin.
I like it. It's just
I like it.
I like it a lot. Music to me, it's always been about music. My life, I tried to put it off for as long as I could, thinking, "Oh, I'll never make it. What's the point?" And then just did mediocre jobs. All the while in the background, I feel most expressive when I'm singing or doing something to do with music. And the main reason I like it is when I've been in situations where I've listened to a tune and really connected to the artist, the song, you know, when we all do that cheesy look out the car window and we're really into the song. I like connecting to people that way. So if they do that to a Harbour song, I'm happy. If someone's listening to it and really like, you know, gut wrenching, helping them get through a hard time, that's enough for me. That's literally why I want to do music, so I can help people, which is strange, but
No,
it works that way, you know.
I think it's commendable. I think both of you had great answers. Like, I think for me, it's like I can kind of draw similar comparisons to like why I wanted to start interviewing bands. You know, like to me, it's like I want to be able to highlight other people's abilities or skills or talents, or passion for doing this, right? Like I think it's oftentimes like you have big bands that like I love and you know, obviously would strive to get on the show at some point in my life, but like I also feel like there's smaller bands that, you know, equally deserve that sort of attention and love because I think they're more apt to make a bigger impact on the scene as a whole because it's like, oh man, this band Seek Harbour, I've never heard of them before. Now I have the opportunity to listen to them, and I would have never had the chance prior to that, you know. And so I think for me, it's like if I can have someone check this video out and be like, I am now a fan of this group, that to me is like I'm stoked. Like that makes my whole day. So I think for me, it's like I like to be able to show why people are so passionate and as well like show their skills off. So thank you guys for coming on. Much love. I wanted to give the final point to you guys, which is where can they find Seek Harbour at? What do you have coming up in the next couple months? And anything you'd like to spill the beans on?
Done some bean spilling.
Just some bean spilling.
Yeah, you can find us everywhere.
Facebook, Instagram,
Yep.
TikTok. That is currently, I think, the main three that we operate on.
We're not on Twitter, unfortunately, or I think it's called X now. Not for any reason. We're just not. We were, and it felt like something extra, and no one really followed us yet. So it's down for the moment.
That's fair.
But you can also find us on, hopefully in the future, YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, but I think it's just got our songs on there at the moment. And in the future, of course, Skin vs. Chrome might be a single. It might not be.
Wait, what? We're so mysterious, Edwin.
Yeah, I mean, we might be releasing some more songs. We never know. Yeah.
I was like, really do you not want to promote the song? I'm just saying.
No, this song is gonna be the first one where it's like our comeback sound.
Yeah.
We've really pushed with this song. We've really made a big conscious effort, I think, as a group, because they've had to get used to me. I've had to get used to them, all whilst recording the song, which I was not there to write. So we're just trying to work this stuff out.
Yeah.
And it is honestly, I think definitely the video itself will be a step in the good direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something different.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the video, all of 15th is going to be a video. So hopefully on our great friends Dreambound, that's where we'll be able to be found.
On Dreambound. Just, we had to rhyme it out. I got you. Respect. Well, listen, you guys can listen to Skin vs. Chrome, as well as give a follow to Seek Harbour down in the description. I was going to say comment section, but I corrected myself. In the description of this video, make sure to go show them some love. Again, massive shout outs to James as well. Love James. He's awesome. So go give him some salutes down on the comments as well. If you enjoyed this interview, make sure to share it, like, and subscribe. It goes a long way. Your boy is well on his way to 4K subs. So if you could help me get there, that'd be sick. And huge thanks to Edwin and Aimee for coming on today. Much love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a hoot.